Hi, how are you all doing? Hello, amazing people. How are you all doing? All right, real quick. Today's topic is how to identify toxic relationships. How to identify toxic relationships. How are you doing? All right. So everybody's going to get the opportunity to join in the conversation. It's it's not easy to deal with these kind of conversations. Quite a few people do not know what even being in a toxic relationship is. You understand? So I want us to discuss these things. What is a toxic relationship? What do you understand by toxic relationship? Have you ever been in a toxic relationship, and how to avoid being in a toxic relationship? Coco Boy Music, how are you doing? I'm waiting for people to come and buy stars. Oh. We spend all day discussing here with you, and then people have not yet come to buy stars. Eh? Oh yeah, come to Facebook, come and buy stars. So first of all, I want us to talk about toxic relationships. Where is Samaria? Those ones know what toxic relationships are. As I typed Sam, the first person that came up was Sammy Okposo. So sad. Samaria Bob, she don't sleep. Ibis Love Haven. Remy.
Daddy Freeze, I'm sorry. I can't be online right now. I'm outside.
You're outside. And I knew you'd be the perfect person to define this thing. Where are you running to?
My child is putting her head on the. She's trying to keep her head on the fountain. Come on.
Mm. Okay.
I'm outside. We went to eat.
Take care. Take
Okay,
care.
bye. Come on, stop.
All right. So I have Remy here. She's quickly going to wear her underwear and clothes, and she's going to show up in a minute. That was a quick.
Oh dear.
That was a
I'm
quick
not
transition.
dressed.
How people dress in 10 seconds, but when it's time to go out, you use 5 hours to dress.
Yeah, you're very right, dear.
So,
Let me shall cover myself very well.
How do you identify a toxic relationship in your own opinion?
Right. Um, when your partner does not trust you enough, right? And you see that you have to constantly give proofs, evidence, send screenshots every time. That could be toxic. Then also if they don't, they don't because a lot of times people think that when your partner gets physically violent, that's the only time that you're going to abuse. Emotional abuse too is really strong, and It's even worse because it takes a longer time for the person who is suffering that abuse to know that they're going through abuse, and then to recover from it takes a much more longer
Time
time.
frame.
Then if they put you down constantly, they put you down, they say negative things about you, and there's, no matter what you do, it's not good enough. Everything you do is not good enough. They are not emotionally available for you. That is toxic. Do you know what I mean? They are distant. There's no connection. And then you find that you're in a relationship with, or rather with your, okay, let's say in a marriage, there are boundaries. There are invisible boundaries in your marriage. Do you get what I mean? You cannot, they just, they have not, it's just like you have a contract that you cannot exactly see physically, but you just know that, okay, you cannot go through your wife's stuff, or you cannot go through your husband's stuff without them giving you like the silent treatment. They might not exactly tell you that this is what you've done, or they will, like, for instance, not talk to you properly, not be there, be available, and you're like thinking all the time, like, what have I done? What is wrong? And even when you call their attention to it, they tell you everything is fine, but they're upset. But somehow in your mind, okay, I think this is what I have done because I went through his stuff, because I went through his phone. This is probably why he's upset. That's a toxic relationship. So you feel like you're living with a total stranger. Then when you get intimate, they sometimes withdraw. They don't want to be intimate with you. They use it as a punishment, or they use intimacy as a prize for doing something good. Do you get what I mean? So okay, today because I've made food for my husband, or because I bought my wife hair, or I bought her jewelry, then I know that I'll get a show, we'll get show tonight, So they use that as a weapon. That's emotional abuse. Do you know what I mean? So there are loads, the boundaries as well are there. You just know, okay, I cannot sit close to my husband, or I can't sit close to my wife. We can't go out together. So you just understand those things, that if I do this, and you find yourself walking on eggshells around your spouse, that's toxic. Walking on eggshells, like, I don't want to say this, or I don't want to do that, or because I don't want trouble. I don't want to bring up this issue because I don't want trouble. That's a toxic relationship.
All right.
Absolutely toxic, yeah.
I'm going to agree with you on all except two things.
Okay.
The first one I'm disagreeing with you is checking your partner all the time. You see, when you say, we're using blanket statements here. Me and you, I met you in the choir. You've always been a good girl. What am I checking you for? I met you in the club. I collected you from Simply Vic. You understand? And I know you still like Simply Vic. I'm gonna freaking check on you. You understand? You've cheated on me before. More than once. I'm gonna be paranoid as hell. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't have a blanket statement for... Now, if a girl's a good girl, trustworthy, doesn't give off any reason to be, how do I put it? To be doesn't give off any suspicion, then it's okay. Then it will be bad if you're checking up on her all the time. Even then, once in a while, you do your checkups. If your conscience is, or if your mind is playing with you along some lines. But you see, many women who have shady, most women I've met, let me give you an example here. There was a time I was younger. I was with some girl, you understand, and
Yeah.
we were right in the middle of the arrangement, the intimate arrangement. You know, I was giving it to her, and her phone rang, and it was her fiance. You
Oh.
understand? And when we finished, I was asking the girl, I was like, come, who was that calling? Said it's her fiance, oh, that the guy is too possessive. He's always checking up on her. And I thought about it. Are you where you are supposed to be?
You're kidding.
I'm telling you. That the guy is too possessive. This is why she doesn't want to marry the guy. Me, when they with him, I they sympathize the guy where they check up on him. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the guy was calling back to back, back to back, back to back, back to back. She was cutting his call. And then she eventually picked his call and was like, what is it? The guy said, hey, I just wanted to wait, it's okay. Wait, you found out that I'm okay. What? Using reverse psychology to bamboozle the guy. And I thought about it. And I was like, if I marry this girl, I will tap her car with wire. I will bug her phone. I will use Babalao to monitor her. I will use a drone to monitor her. You understand what I'm talking about?
Can I explain? Explain what I meant by that? Right? I mean, I feel that it's all right to check. You should have access to your partner's phone. I think so. That's my belief. Like if I'm married or in a relationship, you should have access to my phone. You will have access to whatever that you want, right?
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that sometimes you can be in a relationship or be married to someone who's got trust issues because of their past experiences, because that's their own way of responding to past traumas, right?
Yeah.
So, or you're married to a narcissist, a malignant narcissist, or a covert narcissist. No matter what you do, no matter how loyal, no matter how honest you are, they will never trust you because it is their trait. They have a personality disorder. We need to be able to, just like you said, identify a toxic relationship, identify that they've got trust issues, and that has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them because they've got issues. Do you know what I mean? No matter what you show them, no matter how much, whether they meet you in church, whether you're a priest or not, when you get to, if you're married to a narcissist, a malignant narcissist, or you're married to a covert narcissist, and they know that you're good, they know that you're a good person. If you like, stay in the house 100% all day long. They will, when you get to that stage of devaluation, because that's what the narcissist does, you will get, I think the first stage is the love bombing, right? Usually they end up with people who are nice, who have empathy, because these are the people who are vulnerable to falling in love with a narcissist because they are forgiving and they're nice. They will love bomb you for a while, after which they will begin to devalue you. They will make up stories that are not there, right? They will make up, if you tell them, like me, I am open and I like to gist people about stuff, but a narcissist will have a different version of that story, that same story you've given them to make you look like a bad person. And they will stick to it. And no matter the proof you give them, no matter the evidences you bring, no matter the witnesses, they still will end up, they are delusional. They will still end up with believing what they have, their own lies about you. And that's what they will tell people. And that would make you even question your own sanity. Because you'll be like, oh, or did I actually do those things or not? So I'm saying that in a normal relationship, it's all right to give access. But then when you're in a relationship that is toxic, where the person you're with is a narcissist or has mental health disorders or has an anxiety, for instance, You know, people who have anxiety, they will always see the negative. They will see negatives. If you're walking on the street or you're talking to someone, you're sleeping with them. Okay, oh, hey. That person says he likes your shirt. Like today, I saw your shirt and I said, oh dear, if I like it when you wear red. Looks good on you. If you're married to someone who's got mental health issues, for instance, let's say anxiety, that's the end. That Remy cannot come to you, DF's life again. You cannot talk to her again. Remy is, you know, they will begin to make up things that are not there. Then they are checking your phone. You will be exhausted because you will try to prove to them that, look, there is nothing there. Look at my phone. Look at Remy. Remy is this. Remy is that. Remy has that. No matter the proof you bring to them, no matter what you bring to them, they still will end up believing what they want to believe. And you'll find yourself emotionally drained. If you're with a narcissist, they will suck life out of you. So that's what I'm saying, that identify who you're with. You know, if it's a normal relationship, then that's fine.
Now, I agree with you in theory, but in experience, that's why that particular point is, you see, there are no blanket statements. I just gave you the example of that babe.
Yeah.
She is in a place she's not supposed to be. But because Oyinbo people have defined a man that checks your phone as narcissist. Hold on. I've had this conversation with many women before. And many have blamed their men. Only for me to do a little bit of character searching. Now, there's a difference between men and women. Men cheat more openly, at least in Nigeria, with more brazenly. Women cheat too. Women cheat and will deny it. They will sit down, they will swear with anything and they will deny it. You will see, it happened to me in a previous relationship. I traveled to the UK and came back, and the person I was in a relationship with was chatting with a married man at 4 a.m. and the married man was missing her. They scattered this matter for my head, dude. What is the married man missing? You understand? So after that, you begin to start checking up on them. You are now worried. You want to know what exactly is going on, and you give them a chance to talk, and they will never tell you. They will deny it to death. So sometimes toxic behavior, like you said, yes, born from a past relationship. Sometimes you created the toxicity. You see, now it's not easy to move in and out of marriages, for instance. If I suspect that you're cheating, I don't want to leave, because that will mean I'm not going to see my kids. You understand? Or divorce comes with. So some people stay in bad marriages and become toxic as a result of what that marriage has put them through. There was another point you gave at the end. Do you remember all your points? Do you remember all your points? Because I said I've forgotten. My memory just slips these days. There was a second thing you said that I said I was going to address. It was like the last thing you said. When you were listing out what you consider, I said I agree with everything except two things, that one and something else.
Well, you did not exactly say the second thing.
Yeah.
But it was you spoke more on the.
No, what did you say?
The checking of the phone.
Oh, yes, that was the first one. There was another one you said. Another one you mentioned.
I cannot remember. I know that I said, when they devalue you and they keep saying negative things about you, they bring you down.
Not that. There's something else you said.
I just hope it comes back to
okay.
Now,
another thing that people don't realize is, if I do hope it comes back.
Intimacy. Someone said intimacy.
No,
withholding intimacy and using it.
It's not. Withholding intimacy is grounds for divorce. You understand? You are with someone that is withholding intimacy, and there was one you said that you agreed on, and I was like, no, this particular one is wrong. If you can remember all your points.
Communication.
No.
Is it about?
No. Mention all your points.
Okay, I did talk about boundaries, setting invisible boundaries, where you just know that, okay, you're walking on eggshells around this person. You see that you're always walking on eggshells. You're afraid to bring up issues affecting you both.
Now. You need, that was what I wanted to talk about. You see, when you get into a relationship, and people make this mistake a lot, the two of you were not raised in the same household.
Okay.
There are some no-nos, non-negotiables. That's what I call them, NN, non-negotiables. I'll give you an example. My wife going out for a ladies' night out. As in, I can't do it once in 3 years. Zero is not gonna happen. We are going to fight. The neighbors are going to know that something is happening in that house. I was not raised where my mother will tell my father that she wants to go for girls' night out. And because I used to run a club, when ladies come for girls' night out, I see the kind of things that happen. Maybe I see the wrong ones. Maybe maybe what I saw is the 20% that is bad. You understand me? For me, it's a no. We don't have that conversation. So if you are somebody that wants to be hanging out with your girls, you're going to walk around eggshells with me regarding that. Because no, I'm going to fight you. My wife does not have male friends. She can have male staff. You understand? She can have male suppliers. She can have people that she works with. But I have learned from being a male friend to many women and ending up in their bed. I know what many male friends, and they are the easiest to sleep with a woman because your guards are down. You understand? They have gained your trust. Women tend to trust men they can speak to. And let me tell you something about women here. They are always going to be in a position of vulnerability. And if the man plays his card right, he will hit it. And once he hits it, he also knows he can hit it again. If he hit it well and hit it respectfully, he will hit it again. And before you know it, they can actually form a culture of hitting it right under your nose and you never suspect it. And they will use you as the reason why, they'll use you as the justification for what they're doing. Anytime you make one small mistake, hey, you know what, let's go and hit it. You know, this guy is a bad guy. If you understand what I'm talking about. Now, I don't do ladies' night out. I also don't do guys' night out. I'm not the kind of guy who uses 2 different yardsticks to measure. My wife does not have a problem with me hanging out with my guys. She doesn't. If I say every Friday I want to go and drink beer with my guys, my wife will not say anything. But because I know it's a no for me, I also will not do it. So if I can't go somewhere with my wife, I am not going there. That is me. Because there are some conversations. Now, I need us to also talk about the Western world and how the Western world has opened the room for some conversations that we should not even be having in the first place. And when you don't have those conversations, they should not see you as toxic. Do you understand?
No, can I just address that?
Yes.
One minute, Dave. You see, being able to talk with your partner, right? Talk about this and not punish them for bringing it up, right? That's communication, and that's fine. You will disagree on many things. That's normal.
Now, do you realize, hold on, do you realize that if you are in a relationship and you disagree with your partner on many things, you are toxic? They will label you as toxic.
That's not necessarily being toxic.
Oh, but you see, you now also need to know that Using the label toxic is also toxic. For instance, now I see you, Remy. Oh, Remy does this, she's toxic. Using that label to label you can also be toxicity in its own right. So what am I trying to say here? If you live in the Western world, the Western world it's one of the reasons why I can't relocate. I can't deal. There are some things I can't deal with. I'm 46 years old. I did not deal with them in my teens. I did not adjust in my teens. I'm not going to adjust. The only thing that can take me abroad to live, me, I like to travel, that 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The only thing that can take me abroad to live is either war in Nigeria or pending war. Do you understand? Or my financial circumstance has no remedy in Nigeria. That is when I will now say, okay, I want to go and live abroad. Because, you see, it's a society that is different from our society. The women are different. And if you carry your wife from Nigeria, it will influence her. Your girl, no matter how, an older woman or an older lady will not be influenced as much. But you see, these are our teens. I was having a conversation, a debate between a lawyer and a pastor. And the question was, a guy like me and you, for instance, now, we went to the club. We hung out, partied, drank, got drunk, came home in a blur, slept and woke up. And over the course of the night, we had done it once or twice. You woke up in the morning and used the R word and went to report me to the police. You understand? The guy was arrested and put behind bars, especially when it was the case of a white chick against a black dude.
The black guy, yeah.
Now, when it comes to definition of the R word, I have my issues with the Western world definition. I do not believe a husband and a wife, it's not like they are fighting. A husband and a wife. A husband and a wife doing it, if the wife says no and the husband continues, as far as I'm concerned, it's not R. Before, I used to believe that a husband cannot even go as far as R-ing a wife.
A lot of times when the woman is saying, no, I don't want, he actually wants it.
Do you understand? But you see, you can't use the definition for a group of teenagers for a couple. I know a guy that went to prison because in the middle of it, his wife said stop and he continued. It's not like the wife did not say don't do. Now, it's a totally different thing if I'm a teenager on a date and I take a girl home and we start and the girl all of a sudden has a change of heart. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't be doing this, stop. It's different from me and you don't born 3 children. You understand what I'm telling you? We are a married couple. We are in the middle of this. I have no other outlet. It's not like I can drop you home and go to my other girlfriend's house. This is my only legal outlet. And you say stop. And there are some times when you can't even stop physically. Once your body as a guy has passed that threshold, it will continue. If they hold you like this, it will continue. Do you understand? So, thinking like that, to me, is toxic. To telling me that I can go to prison for not stopping when my legally married wife that I have paid her bride price tells me to stop in the middle. Not if she says, don't, let's do, she's in a bad mood and I continue, which most Nigerian men will anyway. I still don't consider it R, but the government does, and I support them for being a government. Even though I love Nigeria, I know you will not fly that nonsense. Your husband, when it's not that you are fighting, I just know anybody. How many times you say you're in a bad mood, the guy will just climb in thing and they go home, pay bride price. They send your mama money, they send your papa money, they take care of 1 or 2 families. Good. If you go report her for village, now you they go put hand for your eye, see you they mad. What do you want him to do? If he marries a second wife, now you'll be the first to come and be complaining. That's the society in which I was raised. The one I can never agree to is me and you, we are not fighting. It's not like we are in a divorce or a separation. We are cool. We started. Then you had your Oyinbo plenty Tom Cruise movie, Brainwave. And then you now say stop. My legal wife that I've married and paid her bride price and we are not quarreling. I now continue. You will now say that it is that is nonsense. But guess what? That is part of the toxicity of the system that somebody is not used to. You understand? You also need to understand that they're what you call toxic systems. Someone said, listening to you sound like a real African man. I am African to an extent. I am liberal. Do you understand? But I am African to an extent. There are some things, no matter how many movies I watch, no matter how many sitcoms I watch, no matter how much Oprah Winfrey talks are BS, I will not listen. Do you understand? I'm not saying the African system is 100% correct. But you see, the African system tends to press down on women. The Oyinbo system tends to press down on men.
That's because there was a time in the Victorian times,
yes,
the men were allowed to beat their wives. There's something they call the
rule of thumb.
Scones bridle. Sorry?
Yes, the rule of thumb. You can flog your wife with something as long as it's not thicker than your thumb.
No, DF, no. They were actually massive weapons that husbands used to torture and beat their wives in public. There's something they call a scones bridle, if I'm right. It's like a helmet.
Yes.
Right? That a husband can put on the wife's head, and it has like a massive iron that goes into her tongue, and he can lock it with a padlock, and has a rope.
And you see, now you are pushing it. Those ones are. We are not talking about the extremities. Those ones are bad.
No, I'm saying that it was allowed in the Victorian times until it was cancelled. That's why it seems like women now have.
No, it doesn't seem.
In the UK.
Remy, it doesn't seem like women have power. Women have an unnatural amount of power. It's not natural. It's not natural. I don't want to go biblical. I don't want to go societal. Women should not wield that kind of power in a relationship. I'll give you an example with my ex. My ex always believed that we are equal until it came to paying school fees. We're equal. You understand? We're equal. It was always an argument. Then one day I had to ask, I said, come, if we're equal, why are we not sharing the school fees 50-50? We are equal. You understand what I'm telling you? Why don't we share the school fees 50-50? Do you get? Then that we're no longer equal. Then it is now a man's responsibility. And I noticed that the Western world is fashioned like that. Even though they push the equality, it is selective equality. You are equal with your spouse, but when it comes to certain things, you are at an advantage. That alone is societal toxicity. We need to start identifying toxicity in relationships that are present, not necessarily from either one of a man that beats, toxic, an over possessive man, toxic, same with the woman. But you see, sometimes when a man is raised or a woman is raised in a different type of society, I'll give you an example. One of my cousins has 2 wives, and they know each other, and they don't fight. They're both Muslim girls. They were raised according to Islam, and he's in the UK with one of them. He left the other one home, and he's in the UK with one of them. He has 2 legal wives. You understand? He was raised Muslim. According to Islam, you can have 4 wives. The girls were raised Muslim. According to what they were raised, you can be a wife to a man with 3 other wives. So the 2 of them the three of them were raised in the same circumstance. Now, imagine my dad, for instance, whose father had 4 wives and who believes in polygamy, marrying my mom, who was European, who did not understand how it was even possible that a man could have more than 1 wife. Now, that is not my dad being toxic. It's not him. That's how he was raised. He was raised with a set of values. It was acceptable. It was normal. His father did it. His brothers were doing it. His friends were doing it. The society permitted it. You, on the other hand, were raised in such a way that it was absurd. So, you come into a man's life and the man takes a second wife. Is that man toxic?
No, that's not being toxic.
But you see, you also need, well, I'm using polygamy as an example now. There are so many things, for instance, that Islam permits that the Western world doesn't. And there are so many things the Western world permits that Islam doesn't. Now, if I do those things as a Muslim or as a traditionalist, let me give you an example. During the month of Ramadan, you're not supposed to sleep with your wife during the day for the whole month. I'm just giving this as an example.
Yeah.
You, for instance, do not see why your husband should deny you intimacy for a whole month. Your case is valid because according to your society, you shouldn't be denied intimacy because it can affect you psychologically, blah, 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 blah. But his case is also valid. So you now using the toxic card that, for the whole 1 month, he did not touch me because of this. I'm just giving a loose example. You'll find that if you are raised in Nigeria and you are raised abroad, there are things that your partner will not agree to. And we tend to label the people who see life different from us as toxic. Tastebuds and I had an argument last night. We're watching The Good Doctor, and Sean's girlfriend was pregnant, and the girl said that Sean should come and talk to the pregnancy. I was livid. I'm like, are you mad? You tell a man to come and talk to a pregnancy, not a baby, right? If you tell me to come and talk to a baby, I'll still worry that why am I talking to a baby? You can't hear what I'm saying. But to come and talk to a pregnancy. Then Sean, the doctor, was telling you that this pregnancy does not have a heartbeat. What am I talking? I can't talk to blood. He didn't use those exact words, but this thing inside your belly is blood. I can't talk to blood. You understand? It doesn't even have a heartbeat. It doesn't have a brain. What are you talking to? And we got into an argument, and she was like, you cannot, that's your view. I'm like, it's stupidity. And she was like, no, that's your view. So at the end of the day, I thought about it. I said, okay, yes, it's my view. Maybe I'm a bit over the top saying it's stupidity, but to me it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like something someone should collect slap for. Do you understand? And it's something I probably would have issued a slap for like 20 years ago. You tell me to come and talk to prayer. I said, you're not gonna know where the slap because say, you Yahweh Reni. Do you understand? So you also need to understand that the Western world has opened a level of emotionality or emotionalism, if I can use those words, that is not normal. A man can wake up in the morning and say he's neither male nor female, and the government will allow him to be neither male nor female. Or in January he's male, in February he's female, in March he's neither. You can choose to identify as a watermelon. You grown man, we get blockers, you don't turn watermelon. You see, so the Western world has its flaws because, yes, people are suppressed in Africa. But I call this the K-leg to bow leg paradox. A child was born with K-leg. You know how K-leg is? They took the child to a pastor to pray for the K-leg. Pastor began to pray. The K-leg come begin the straight. Pastor no can't stop to the pray. Now so K-leg turn bow leg. The essence of solution is not to go from one problem to the other. K-leg is not the solution of bow leg. Straight leg is the solution of bow leg. But you see, the world went from the K-leg of suppressing women's emotions to the bow leg of the women having too many emotions. Do you understand? Now, if you what we need to as humans to do is find the balance. You understand? Find that balance instead of taking something from one extreme to the other. Because I'll tell you for free, the UK society and the American societies are not working with regards to children. I met a woman, she raised 2 children till they were 21 and wrote a book about it. I said, you raised children till 21. I've also raised children. Said in the UK, my sons have never gone to prison. It's an achievement. Everybody in the UK, especially if you're in London or those areas, when you are choosing your house, you are thinking of gangs. Will my children be exposed to gangs? This kind of mosquito can't they bite me today? Will my children be exposed to gangs? Will they get a school where they will sell substance? You understand what I'm telling you? The society is not working. Yes, the fact that people have more light, the fact that you people have a better educational system, the fact that you people have a police system that works, does not mean you have a better society than the Nigerian society. If the Nigerian society had all those things to add, a good police, a good healthcare system, good schools, good this, we would have our own peculiar problems, the rituals, the Nigerian problems. But why I chose the UK and the US systems is because they are the worst. Somebody in America, as in it's like monthly, person would just wake up, carry shakabula, enter grocery shop, open bullets, give everybody. The next month they enter school.
You see,
the latest one, hold on, the latest one that happened was that guy that went into a gay club and give everybody bullet chop. Then the father came out and they eventually buy the guy. Then the father came out and said, thank God at least in Peking no be gay. You understand? If you live in America, if it has not happened this month, just be patient. Before the month end, it will happen. So how do you say that society is better than ours? Nigerian society has poverty-related issues. The American and the British, especially the London area society, has over-emotion issues. I spoke to many young people and many young adults. This is my last trip. And many told me that you will come from a good home in the UK. Your parents are hardworking, some Christian homes, and you will still be in a gang, and you will still sell substance. So how is that society working? And how is that society a society upon which we are judging another society that is also not working? Over to you, Remy.
DF, you said a lot, but let me just quickly touch on that. In terms of raising children in the UK, DF, people, if you see, because we don't beat here, you're not allowed to beat your child here. It then means you do more work raising your kids, right? That means you have more you need to spend more time talking to them, having conversations with them. You need to spend more time with them. And I tell you that I would rather raise my kids here than raise them in Nigeria. You see, in Nigeria, it's easy because any small thing you scream, you beat. That fear, it's people use fear to raise children, and children are like, I don't want to do this. Not that they understand why they shouldn't without the fear of being admonished or punished. Do you understand? So I understand London because of the environment, the gang, and all of that. But outside London, it's different. I
Let me
have
tell you
kids
something.
here.
Hold on. Some people are saying, sorry to cut you. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah,
A
no,
lot
it's
of
all
people
right.
are saying the London system is better than Nigerian system because you are not raising teenagers in London. Go and ask those who raise teenagers in London. They will tell you. Some of them want to bring their children. Is the fact that Nigeria is not working. That's why they have not come back home.
Yeah, and that's why I said London. That I don't know. I cannot say for London. I've heard a lot. I wouldn't want to raise my kids in London. It
And
probably
same thing
will
with
require
America.
more work, right? But you see, outside London, DF, it's amazing. You see kids here, and they are. If you spend time with them, it just requires more time, and you have to start early. Start early. You talk to them and treat them with respect. The thing that I love about United Kingdom is that there's respect for everybody. Respect for even animals. Men, there's respect for men. There's respect for other people's culture. There is awareness, there's diversity. We understand all of that, right? And then children too, there's respect. When you start early, talking to your children, asking them to see, like for instance, my kids, I tell them, my son, for instance, if he's being naughty, and then I tell him, go to your room, right? After a while, maybe he's crying in his room, for instance, I'll let him cry. Then go to his room and say, now, sit down, talk to me. Why did you do that? Then I give him the chance to explain and to talk, tell me why he did that. That was how my dad raised me in Nigeria. Do you get what I mean? And it was amazing. My dad used to give, he treated me with respect. My dad had always, had a study in our house because my dad was an engineer. My dad would call me and say, tell me why you behaved that way. Tell me why you did this thing that you've done, even after I warned you many times. And then when I give him my own explanation, if he thinks I'm just making an excuse, he'll tell me, well, you're going to have to be, you'll get punishment for what you have done. Do you think that you should be punished? And then I will say, yes, Dad, I have done something wrong. I shouldn't have. I deserve to be punished. That's respect. Your child will grow to know that, okay, this punishment I'm getting is because I did something wrong. My mom, on the other hand, whether you're wrong or whether you're not wrong, or the fact that she's the next thing, go on your face, she'll give you factory resetting slaps on your face. Only maybe 5 minutes after, that's when she'll then realize that you didn't actually do it. But then she's, done all of that and will not even apologize. You see, my dad, if my dad has to beat you, he will first of all let you know why you're getting punished. After that punishment, my dad will sit you down and say, well, so now that
someone said a lot of kids raised abroad are doing great and excelling. If you are raised well in a good Nigerian school, you will do. I was raised in Nigeria. Am I not doing well? I'm doing better than many people are abroad. The fact that they have 24 hours light, they have road that works, does not mean they are doing better. There are some, when I was in the UK, this last trip I went to, when I'm in Nigeria, I'm wearing my Rolex. If I'm in Nigeria, I'm going to the airport, I'll be wearing it on that long sleeve. That's how I got to the UK. I threw away my long sleeve, bought t-shirt, was walking around brandishing my Rolex. One guy at time called me, said, "Baba, they know they wear Rolex like this for London now." He showed me his wrist. He said he wasn't wearing any watch, and he sells watches. He was like, they will stab you and collect this watch in Mayfair. Mayfair is the heart of London, one of the most beautiful parts of London. Said they will literally run at you, stab you, knife, cut your watch in London.
But yeah,
hold on.
Raising children outside London.
Hold on. What I'm trying to say is, every society with its peculiarity. Nigeria is in a mess now. Nigeria 10 years ago, I would 100% raise my kids in Nigeria 10 years ago, Nigeria, over the UK 10 years ago and the UK now. Anywhere in the UK. You see, the children in the UK have a different type of value system, and the children raised in Africa have a different type of value system. I have people Remy, between me and you can ask these boys that after raising children abroad, they want to come home and have children in Nigeria. They're like, you know what? Especially when they are getting towards the tail end of their lives, they are in their 50s. They just realize, saying, nah, I want to have a homegrown. I swear to you, this is a conversation I've started having a lot with a lot of people, and sometimes I'm at crossroads what to advise. You need to understand that when people talk about Nigeria, I live in Nigeria. Nigeria is not safe. Nigeria is not safe. Nigeria is not safe. If you live in VI and work in Lekki, yes, Nigeria will also happen to you. But you can't compare if you live in Ibadan. There are places in Nigeria where you can live a relatively decent life, and you stand the same odds as getting mugged in Lekki as in Peckham, in Woolwich, in Brixton, in that same London. And these places, Brixton is a coagulation of Jamaicans. Peckham, na Naija, Black, Naija, Croydon, Woolwich, in that same UK. Lewisham. Do you understand? So raising, and if you are a Nigerian, how many Nigerians can, those Peckham, Lewisham, those are the kind of places where you'll be able to afford their rent. Unless you are a surgeon or a doctor, a well-to-do, what is it called? Now, the kind of work you do also determines whether you can stay outskirts. You can stay in Kent or in Newcastle or maybe even in Manchester. There's the kind of work you'll be doing. You will not see work in those places. Some people's work keeps them grounded in places like London, and they have to raise their families there. Someone said Peckham is getting better, Sha. Aye, Peckham is not better. Oh, somebody just sent me some stars. May God bless the black mentor Latham, Joseph Nantoma, husband of Mercy Nantoma.
Black Tormentor.
Black Tormentor. Oh, just send me 2,000. Please, we are sitting here talking plenty. Can you all please go to Facebook? Do you know I've not even told you how to sell stars, and we have almost 400, almost 500 people watching us on Instagram alone. Someone said Pikin we go spoil. Allah. Pikin we go spoil. If you raise up for Nigeria, go spoil. If you raise up for, listen, everybody I met, just hang out with Pastor Toby. All those people that are with him, all these pastors, all of them have, a majority of them, let's say 85% of them, have been in and out of jail, have sold drugs. Even listen, forget London. You are raising babies. When you start getting to 18, 19, you have even where you are, because there's peer influence and parents. Oh, this Joseph Nantoma is such an amazing guy. If you see how handsome this is, in fact, he has bought 6,000 stars, and you know why? He is washing his brand new Corvette. Joseph Nantoma has a red Corvette. At the Hela, Joseph Nantoma go buy white. Only him get red and white of the same car for America. He said, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. I was very weak. Black mentor. So anyway, back to what I was saying here. I interviewed these people. There's a young gentleman I met, handsome, good-looking footballer, intelligent. He hadn't been to prison before, but he had dealt before, and some of his friends are either by or in prison. I met girls who came out of prison. That's one of the reasons why I respect what Toby Adegboyega does, because he takes these people from prison, from the gangs, from the streets, from the dealing, and turns their lives around into useful to the society kind of people in that same UK. You see, it is easier for you to live in the UK if you are in a certain tax bracket. If you are not making the kind of money that can keep you in a neighborhood where the children would go to certain types of schools, you will struggle even in that UK. It's not like that across Europe.
Not everywhere in the UK though.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
Now you need to understand this. You are a mother. How many teenagers do you hang with? Because of the course of my job, I can tell you for free, there is nowhere in the UK, maybe Dublin, maybe let's leave Ireland out of it, that is safe from the dealing culture. Now we're not talking of gangs, we're talking of substance. Across you, even where you are, there is a substance problem. You might not know of it, and you might be lucky enough that it will pass your children by, which I pray for you it will. But do not ever believe in your wildest imagination that it is not there and it is not a problem. So people are saying I should bring more people here. I'm trying to bring more people here. Someone said, don't raise a child in New York or New Jersey. They're not born your mama, you go raise picking for New York. If 9 and 50 cents go join power, go they do power. New York, New Jersey, Queens. Let me tell you, Lagos Island better Queens. Lagos Island better Peckham. I will, instead of me to raise my child in Peckham, I will raise him in Lagos Island.
God forbid Peckham.
No, but that's the people's choice. That's the people don't have any other choice. And the thing you see when they say abroad, some places no follow for abroad though. Evelyn Fetuga, thank you for the stars you got. Evelyn, oh wow, Evelyn Fetuga sent 1,000 stars. She's currently fighting with Joseph Nantoma. Joseph Nantoma, our leading star buyer, is leading with 5,000 stars.
Well
Evelyn,
done, Evelyn. Thank
Evelyn
you.
is a lady. Evelyn, can you actually measure up?
Well done, Evelyn. Good
Evelyn,
job.
come and show the black mentor that you
Correct
two
the
can
black
buy 2
tomato
Corvettes.
for us.
All right, let me bring some more people to populate this. We're talking about toxicity, and it has grown.
Yeah.
Someone said, not all New
Yeah.
Jersey, not all New Jersey. New York. Queens, all of Queens. Don't raise a child in Queens. Yes.
I live in Newcastle, and I think a lot of times Nigerians, right? They come to the UK to raise their children in the Nigerian way. In the UK society, it's going to be a struggle.
You know what? We have Sean here. Let's hear him.
Hello, DF. Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you and I can hear you. How are you doing,
Hello,
Sean?
Yeah. I agree with a lot of things DF said. Obviously, I don't live in London. I live in Manchester. I live in an area called Altrincham. But one thing I've noticed, especially for the area I live in, Manchester, if you compare Altrincham to like Moss Side is the Peckham of Manchester. It's full of Africans, immigrants, people like my parents, myself, they live there. But one thing that is totally different is when you compare the lifestyle of people who live in my area compared to those areas, is the fact that everybody works late, their parents works late, but there's after school for their kids. The moment the kids is finishing school, you see that they're going to play tennis, or maybe they're going to singing classes. If it's a girl, they're going to ballet, they're going to this. Us Africans don't believe in that. Your child finish school, go home, watch TV. If you are a boy, watch TV. If you're a boy, there, we are all boys. It's just the amount of TV you will watch before you get bored and you start looking at the window like, I like this trainers, this Nike, this guy's working, wearing. Let me go talk to him. Let me see how I can get it. So I think it's what my sister said definitely resonates with me, because a lot of our people come to the UK with the same African mentality. Yes, you don't need to throw your mentality or your culture away, but you need to add to the stock that you've got. You have to look at how things are done, and now you can make the system work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's my input. And I mean, and Nigeria. I mean, I left Nigeria when I was 17. I was already in the university then, and Nigeria, even back then, I don't know, 10 years ago, DF is talking about, you know, I went to UNAB, I went to Jerry, you know, the amount of like killing, cultism, you know, Eye versus Buka, you know, Ake versus Buka, and then you're running in the middle of the girls, you know, you see dead body on the street. I'm almost 40 now, you know, so, and those are years ago. So,
and you know what, right? The parents here in the UK.
Now, hold on.
They don't check.
Wait. This last UK there were 3 buyings. 3 people lost their life. Gone in that time. So you can't rule. You see, Nigeria's cultism, especially in those remote schools, or Jerry, you go see plenty tire. The UK is not. America is even worse. So America will not be cultism. Now mad person will just carry shakabula, enter inside classroom, tear everybody one bullet. It's there. It happens monthly in America. Monthly. If it never happened this month, be like say they want go holiday. As long as there is a school, we lost Sean. So you see, every society is peculiar. Right now, Nigeria is a mess, and even we in Nigeria, we know say na nonsense place. But you also need to understand that if you are raised in Nigeria, there are some certain things like what the latest trend in Canada. Canada, for instance, is relatively safe. But there's the latest trend in Canada now, wives calling police for their husbands.
They do it here too.
Canada now is on an all-time high. If you live in Canada, you know what I'm talking about. Small thing like this, your husband don't be homeless. In Nigeria, there is no police woman wants to call for me. Worst case scenario, they will arrest me, but they cannot tell me to leave my house. You see, a lot of people are saying yes. So we also need to deal with those what am I saying? We also need to deal with those realities. Listen, someone said Canada, headquarters of turn your husband to homeless. I'm telling you. Someone say, I'm a family lawyer in the UK. Now, how will they chop? Oh, let me bring this lady on. China Zoe. I know we started with toxic relationships, but you need to understand that toxicity, we're talking about toxicity on a bigger scale. Hi, Chinazor. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So this husbands wives calling police for their husbands. I think there's a pandemic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I shouldn't be saying this because these are my clients, so I don't want to lose clients. But you will not
mention their names. Now you're going to mention them one by one. Remy. Ada Blessing. You are not mentioning them one by one. We need to agree that it is a pandemic abroad. You are not safe as a husband abroad. If you are a husband, you are not safe. Canada is wild right now. They're wilding out.
And
same thing with UK.
Once one person goes to court and gets that court order, they tell their friends, and then it starts going round, and it just becomes. I don't mind because that's what I do. But there's a pandemic. I will be honest with that one. There's a pandemic in the UK, in London. I don't know about outside London.
Isn't that London, one in abroad? Every abroad area, Canada. No. Right now, the amount of men that have messaged me in the last 1 month saying wife call police for them, If you know past 40 now,
But
I
saying
see.
that the Nigerian men.
Yes, now. Where do I know any other men
But saying
from?
that Nigerian men.
What's
The
the
Nigerian men.
All right, we have somebody else here with us.
This is not Nigeria.
Ebiere,
Yeah,
you said I should bring you. Oh yeah, I want to hear your contribution.
Yeah. This is not
And
Nigeria.
they want it to work. It can't work.
With rubbish.
It cannot work. Do you know what I mean? It can't.
No.
Ebiere, beautiful girl with nice hair. Let's hear your story.
Thank you. I have many things to say from when the conversation started. So I'll first say one thing though that I've been really wanting to say. I've been wanting somebody to hit on it about toxic relationships first before I then come back to what we're talking about now. And that is, nobody mentioned all those relationships that they break up, make up, break up, make up, break up, make up, have makeup, you know, things like that. That is very toxic. But anyway, with that one, we've passed to that topic. So talking about, there was something that the Freeze mentioned. And in this conversation, I've been opposing that Freeze things, where he said, hey, what did you say? About how they, you know, sometimes in America, for example, they go to schools to go and, you know, children and things like that. And you see, the one thing about the Western countries, I love Nigeria, just bear that in mind. I am completely Nigerian. But one thing about the Western countries is whoever the perpetrator is of a crime gets caught and or maybe even killed. Sorry to use that word. But in Nigeria, they go free of charge. So that's one major difference. Justice is always served. You cannot just go to a school and do something. The guy that went to school and did that.
Yeah, but the children don't buy now. The children don't buy.
They still buy them. No, but at least the person is caught. In Nigeria, they would do, people would buy, but nobody will get caught. So how about that? Then talking about raising children, I completely agree with Remy, where Nigerians raise children with fear. And it is so, a lot of us now that we're adults, we come out and we say things like, look at me today, I turned out fine. Are you sure you turned out fine? Think about your relationships. Think about how you think about your friendships, your marriage even. A lot of us are actually, including myself, I have my own, you know, we're not you know, we're not complete. So we can't justify what our parents did and say, you know, it's good that they flogged us or they did the hell out of us and things like that. I agree with it. Raising children with respect, especially. I really completely agree with Remy. Children like they're individuals, they're human beings. Ensuring that you whatever a child says, in the child's mind, it's a very serious issue. Don't laugh at the don't take it like, small picking, come on from here, get out. Mommy and daddy are talking, or you can't see when adults are talking, get away. No, that is completely destroying that child's self.
Yes, they're damaging them.
Yes, then you now see that they grow up to become timid. All these timid people, you know, in work environments, they become timid. They're not able to talk. It's
Can I just say something? Can I just say something?
Yes, please. Now, sorry, before you say something, I want her to talk about homeless Nigerian men that their wives have turned to homelessness. Comment, Ebiere.
That happens to women as well in the Western world. So
No, that's a lawyer there with you now. Which women does it happen to?
No. Let me explain something. Whoever is the primary caregiver to a child most likely gets custody of the property. If the father is the primary caregiver, the father will get custody of that, get ownership or whatever.
There's a lawyer there. Are you a lawyer, Ebiere? Are you a lawyer?
No.
That's a lawyer beside you.
My brothers are lawyers.
That's a lawyer beside you. Dear lawyer, please help us comment on Ebiere's case.
Oh, so do you agree with me? Tell me, am I wrong?
I think that's how it should happen, but that's not how it always happens.
Thank you.
That's how it should happen. But that's not, because women are quick to go and cry wolf, quick. And they rush to court and they get the right court order to get the man out. Once the man is out, it's very, very hard to get him back in. So they know what they're supposed to do and they do it quick. And I represent some of them. But, so it shouldn't happen that way, but it does happen. Whoever gets to the court quick, and it's usually the women.
Thank you very much. Before we continue,
Also, they talk about whoever is the more vulnerable person. So you see, at least from my little understanding of the law to an extent, you know, the way that the Freeze understands the law through his mother, I understand the law through my brothers. And you know what I understand is the law is trying to create an equitable environment where everybody is comfortable. And usually, most of the time, it's the women that are vulnerable, because it's the women that probably earn less money, or maybe they're the ones not working, looking after the home, things like that. In that scenario, the man is likely still going to be the one to have to leave, because the woman is more vulnerable. See, my point is, I am aware of women that have also had to leave their homes, that have also had to leave their children. I'm aware of women that also pay child support. So it's not just restricted to men. That's my point.
But then the proportions, you can't.
it's like 5 to 95. Women to men in that scenario is like 5 to 95.
As a result of the inequality in the world already, men are generally stronger than women. That's just the pure.
No, not abroad though. Abroad has a very lovely way of domesticating and making men docile. Man is stronger than which woman? Be walking on the street and slap a man, you see what will happen abroad.
Generally, they are the CEOs, they are the everything.
That is, let me just say something before I go.
Yes.
Let me say something quick. In the UK, we've had an influx of Nigerians coming to study, and they're bringing their family as dependents. The problem is this thing about raising children. I have so many Nigerian children in the last week in foster care, because the parents come, they do this one of I'm hitting you, I'm knocking you, and it doesn't work here. So now that's not the new thing. Social services are removing these children and placing them in foster care. So it's also about when you're coming from Nigeria, you have to learn the law of where you're coming to, even if you don't agree with the law.
Absolutely.
You need to learn, because otherwise your children are.
Men in Rome act like the Romans.
Someone says, I see why Daddy Freeze don't want to travel. Me, I cannot raise children that are my organs abroad. And I cannot live abroad. And my wife will call, even though I trust my wife, I know she will not do something. I don't even want it to be somewhere in the horizon that she can do it. And let me tell you, by the time friends abroad start entering inside your brain, take care, my darling sister. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
By the time friends abroad start entering inside your brain.
But if you see a marriage where the husband is supportive, right,
Yes.
and he has left that Nigerian mentality at the airport, at Murita.
There's nothing wrong with the Nigerian mentality, Remy. There's nothing wrong with the Nigerian mentality. It is when it gets excessive that there's a problem. Just as there's nothing wrong with the abroad mentality, but when it gets excessive, there's a problem. I just gave you an example. I just gave you an example. How can I be sleeping with my wife in the middle of the sleeping and my wife says stop and I continue and it is R? That is utter nonsense.
Yes, there's hardly any woman who would do that.
The lawyer just left. I wish I could bring the lawyer back.
I like that scenario because it can happen. Anything can happen. What if the woman has something that's going on down there and there's pain at that point in time, and she starts and then she realizes, it's painful.
But if the husband knows his wife, if there's a connection, then you will know that the way she sounds, it sounds like she's in pain, and he will stop.
But you see, some men see that moaning as that's
no, you don't understand. That's why.
Let me tell you something. Nigerian man no go stop. Nigerian man no go stop.
You will know.
Nigerian man no go stop.
Your wife is in pain. You will know when she's in pain. You will know that moaning is different from, and you'll be like, are you okay?
Okay, if the Nigerian man continues, what happens to him? Nigerian man in Nigeria continues, what happens to you? Say, baby, sorry, Sorry, take fancy. My audio is not bad. It's because of the lady's audio, so I had to remove her because her audio was affecting everybody else's. Yeah, thank you, Ebere. By the way, I'm so sorry.
Yes, you would know, and the woman might be able to endure until you're done. I mean, how long are we talking about? It's not like the man is going to be on top of you for.
In Nigeria, you will endure, and the man will come out and feel happy. Abroad, you will tell the guy to get up. The next thing, you are reporting him to police. Next thing, lawyer. Next thing, therapist.
I've not heard cases like that too. You're already inside. They have already consented. Then you're halfway done.
Listen to me. I have heard of withdrawal of consent after it happened. And it's a case. Okay. After they did it, the girl withdrew her consent after they had finished. She said, no,
and I'm changing. Married.
No, these ones were not married. Just to show you how stupid they can be in that abroad. Okay. Ofonye, Canada. We have a gentleman here. Let's hear him.
Daddy Prince, good evening. Thank you for bringing me on.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'm just going to be quick on my own aspect because this is more of Nigeria issue. We have Nigerians that married women from Uganda, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, and this is not happening. Why must it be when Nigeria married a Nigerian women that will be kicking us out of the house? Let's be honest. Why is it that when a Nigerian woman starts making money, that is when she starts saying what are we do and what are we not do? How many rates of divorce do we have in Nigeria? They live in peace forever. But whenever they move over abroad, they start making $25 to $30 fine. You convert it to Naira, it's around 20,000 or 10,000. The head go blow off. Why?
Not all Nigerian women are like that, too. I mean, we can keep talking about this conversation over and over and keep going about it. And
I have friends over here. Hold on. I'm going to leave very soon. I have friends over here who married women from Sudan, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Uganda, Kenya. No problem. You go to their house, you eat as you want, you go home, everybody's happy. Go to Nigerian man's house. Before you know it, the wife don't go in, come back. The guy go tell you, say, we won't go out. You don't tell the husband, tell you, make you they go.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. And you have just buttressed what I've been trying to say. God bless you, brother.
Let's just be honest.
Before we go any further, can you guys see the suit Black Mentor is wearing? It is toxic that Black Mentor has this kind of suit and I don't. This is toxicity in our relationship. How can he have this kind of jacket and I don't have my own version? He's wearing chain, he's wearing shades. It's toxic relationship. My relationship with Black Mentor is toxic.
It's not toxic.
By the way, he just bought 2,500 stars. Big shout out to Joseph Nantoma. 2,500 stars. How do you buy stars? Please just go to Facebook. All of you right now, you're enjoying this show. It's not easy for me to stay up at this time of the night.
Yeah, Black Mentor said, what's your size? Tell him your size, oh, sharp.
I will tell you. I will go and check because I don't really know my size. I'm toxic when it comes to fashion.
Hey, everything is toxic.
Go to your Instagram account. your Facebook account. Top right hand corner, you will see a little search bar. Click on it. Type DADDY FREEZE Daddy Freeze. When you type it, you will see my page will pop up. It is a verified page. It has blue tick on Facebook. 748,000 followers. Just scroll down. You can see. Scroll down. You will see today's video. That is me there. Click on it. Once you click on it, in where the comments are, you will see how to get stars. Oh yeah, all of you, go and buy stars or I end this video in 5 minutes. I end this video in 5 minutes if I don't see enough stars.
Oh, yeah.
If I don't see stars, I will end the video in 5 minutes. Chichi Obama wants to come. While we're waiting for her to come, let's hear Sean. Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, because I don't know what happened to my connection earlier on. The other aspect I wanted to add on as well, when obviously we were talking about Nigerian kids joining gangs in London and whatnot. I think I will use my own personal example. For example, my dad is a psychiatrist. My mom is a nurse in Nigeria, and they're still practicing in the UK. As a child, when I finish, or you go down. I noticed the amount of time they add for us.
Are you going to be
in Nigeria? And I'll give you an example. My dad would go to, he was working in, I think there was a general hospital in Abeokuta or somewhere in Lagos or something like that. I can't remember, it's been ages.
All right.
He will come back, finish work at, go at 9, finish work at 12 o'clock. Because you can just walk out of the job in Nigeria. Just back then there's no GSM, nothing. Finish work at 12 o'clock, spend time with us. We talk, we gist, we watch football together, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But over here in the UK, they don't want you well to do that. It's always on call. Then you have to pick up a shift, or, you have to go to like a night shift as a psychiatrist, same as a nurse with my mom. So it's like the workload is all of a sudden is so much that you haven't got time for your kids once you move over here. And
you have time for yourself. You don't even have time for yourself again.
Thank you very much.
You must create time. If you want the best, then don't blame the society. Then it is not exactly the society's fault.
No, but one thing I'm going to say, sorry, Sister Rim, one thing I'm going to say is that I'm going to also flip one thing that Daddy Freeze always says that I always have at the back of my mind as well. There is a cause and effect for everything, because whether I will like it or not, because of people like my father or the father doctors can just check in Nigeria 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you don't finish job, you finish work. Is the way Nigeria is the way it is. It's true, because whether we like it or not, maybe you're supposed to have your shift from 9 to 5, but because you are the boss and nobody's watching you, you check in, and then at 12 you finish, jump in your car, you come home, chill with your family. The effect of it is the fact that there is no, a standardized healthcare in Nigeria. Over here, that they have, everything is computerized from the moment you get in to the moment I'm a project manager, for example. I work from home. The moment I sign in onto Cisco, my VPN is that I already registered the time that I started, up to when I go out and everything. So there is always like there's a kind of, it's a two-edged sword. You can't have the your cake and have it at the same time with the system over here. And also one thing you picked up on which I totally believe in, and I've got kids and I always do that, is when you're raising child, because the way we were raised in Nigeria is almost, from a lot of us, even those of us that our parents understand, most of the time is out of fear. Because the easiest thing as a parent, and I'm sure you're a parent, the easiest thing as a parent is your child do something you don't agree with, instead of you to speak to us, to give them a slap straight away. Because that time, you're like, you don't register to your head. But the child might not understand why he's got like a slap from you. The child might not understand why he's that upset with me because I did this. I think I remember there was a case. I was speaking to one of my mixed friends there, and I was making jokes like, why do you guys always speak to your kids? Before I had kids, you always talk to them every time. And he said something that always stick to my head. He said, it's a bit stupid if you have a 2, 3, 4-year-old child, they've only been in this world for 4 years, and you expect them to have a mentality of you that have lived this life for 30 years. And that thing always stick to my head, because sometimes you have to go down to their level and tell them, okay, this is the reason why you don't run around on the streets, because cars are coming, it's dangerous, you have to get it down to their level, because you can just, as an adult, you can pick it straight away, okay, yeah, this is what I'm not supposed to do, but they don't understand that. And it is stressing, it is demanding, it's time consuming, but it is what it is.
Do you know what? I have this app
Wait.
on my phone. It's a family.
Hold on, let's allow Chichitu to talk. Time don't they go.
Right.
I'm a nurse. I work with I work with the children's unit and we've been having a lot of children that are Nigerian children coming in now, a lot of them. So I talk to them. I want to know what's going on. Why are they coming? What's going on? They keep saying Nigerians. I know I'm guilty of it. I'm not gonna say I'm not, but we bring that mentality of Nigeria, where you have children children here in the US or anywhere, maybe UK or somewhere, the environment they grow in is different from the environment we grew in. So we want to force our, like they tell you, yes, you want to tell when you try to force your culture to them, they find it very. they keep telling you that they're having anxiety, they are depressed because their parents is making them do something they don't want to do. You don't give them option of listening to them. So most of them will come like, Miss Chichi, this is what's going on. My parents will not even let me talk. When I try to express my feelings, they don't want to listen to me. So it's really a big problem. And I think parents, I'm guilty of it too. I'm not saying I'm not. But we all need to learn. Even my children, I have a daughter. She keeps telling me, Mom, we have to work on this. We have to work on it. We have to work on it. We have to work on it. This is not how you're supposed to do it. And it's true. She's telling me the truth because most times the children, when they don't know how to reach their parents, they start listening to their friends. And most of them, they go to school, all they do is take pens, razors, start cutting themselves. That's the only way they express. I'm serious.
They're depressed.
They express anxiety. They express depression. They be cutting their wrists. You see cuts all over their thighs because where people will not see it. And you see that most of them, they're always wearing these long sleeves, even when it's summer. I'm like, why are you wearing long sleeves when it's summer?
Can I just quickly say something?
Yes, they don't want you to see it. So
can I just quickly, thank you for bringing that up, right? You see, a lot of times, Nigerians, we ignore the emotional part of raising kids.
Right.
We ignore that area.
And let me cut you. I think abroad, hold on. I think abroad take the emotional part of raising kids to an unrealistic height.
Not really, dear.
Yes. Listen. Yes. You don't like to admit it.
Unrealistic because
listen, I keep telling you people, the Nigerian system is bad. It's K-leg. The Oyinbo system is not the straight leg. It is bow leg. It is as bad in another. Listen, they do through the hold on. Wait. They do it. Sorry, let me just land on this. They do it through the programming of social media. They do it through the programming of the TV, the media. They create an unnecessary level of emotions in your children that are dangerous. Listen, I have kids that went to a British school and I have kids that went to a Nigerian school, both expensive schools. The level of emotions that the British children are taught, we can't deal with it. The Nigerian schools still teach the children, okay, no matter what happens, you have goals, you set on your goals. The Oyinbo people are taught that if you have a breakup, you can't focus on your goals again. They emphasize the Yes, you don't know what they are doing to their children. You don't know what they do to your children. They are creating emotional monsters. You don't know it, but you will see it in due time. Don't worry. So what I'm saying is the Nigerian system is not good. It's K-leg. That abroad system is not the correction of the Nigerian system. It looks good because it is the opposite of what you want. What you don't want, you don't want the opposite. You want a correction.
The way you treat Nigerian children is not the same.
They exaggerate issues. It's not normal. The emotionalism of the Oyinbo people is exaggerated, is abnormal. A child will wake up one day and say he feels in a certain way, and if you don't allow them to feel in that way, you will get into trouble with them.
They get depressed.
They get depressed. Depression exists on both sides, but I believe Nigeria's depression is more from poverty. The depression of Nigeria is it can be linked to poverty. I can't say all of it.
The problem with Nigerians don't believe in mental status of people.
Listen, let me be very honest with you.
Nigeria needs to understand that your mental status is
Now,
very paramount in life.
mental health abroad is also,
I go reset your brain.
like I
you don't
said,
be saying
listen,
that.
like I said,
I'm telling
the
you,
Nigerian
they
system
will
is
tell you
not
that they want to
correct.
reset your brain. Are you
The
kidding?
Nigerian
When you tell
system
them
is not
the truth, they get
correct.
mad.
The Nigerian system is not correct. Neither is this abroad system. What we need is a balance somewhere in between. Sometimes a child needs a slap. If they
Yes,
walk.
yes.
There was a
Yeah, serious one,
in my house. One of the children stood up to their mom. And this all this is that emotion, that particular child that has this emotion. Are you just start going off on the mom, just start going. Now slap, now correct them. And I swear to you, over the next 1 week, we saw the difference. Talk cannot correct that. I swear, waiting slap fit correct. I'm not saying that slap has to be there regularly, but that once in a while, that slap where you go collect, you go adjust.
Yes, once in a while the slap is good, but this one is
And that's
like,
why you start early with your kids.
Forget early. You see some children temperament. You see my problem with Oyinbo people is there are some. I have children that talk responds to. We don't beat them because of their temperament.
Right.
My son, baby freeze. If you know show and cane, that thing you are looking for, you will never get. He will manipulate you. He will play with
Let me
you.
tell you. Let
He
me tell
will.
you
You
how I
will
punish
never.
my
I'm
kids.
telling you.
Should I tell you how I punish my kids?
You can't
Right?
have a way you
take
punish
their
your
money from
kids.
them.
You see that's the problem, Remy.
Everybody-
You can't have a way you punish your
There's
kids
nothing called
for all of the
consequences and
kids.
rewards.
They listen.
do
I have
consequences and
kids.
rewards.
I
You
have
do
kids
something-
that you don't slap, you don't beat. When you talk, there's response,
you
there's
collect water.
communication.
You must collect
There
water.
are some
My own
children.
consequences
Even me, I was
and
like that when I was young. Until I collect that once in a while slap. That thing where you want to make I do, I not go do. I'm nothing where you want. Say this, you know, go beat me. Oh, and that thing never. No, waiting when you stay bully me. I don't go do. I go manipulate you. And I saw that in my son. He will wind you. He will. But once he see cane, he dey adjust. Sometimes we don't
Because
use the
he's
cane.
used to it.
Let
he
me
comes
tell.
to the UK,
Forget
he will
it.
struggle, oh, because he's already used to cane and there's no cane here.
Can I say
What
something
will
on
you
here?
then do?
Yes.
No, he will correct it.
Can
It
I
will
say
be
something?
better for
Yes.
him. You know why it will be better for him? Because he has already learned the act of instruction. When children don't learn the act of instruction, like you try to, like we Nigerians, our children excel more here because we have that power to dominate them. Like we use that domineering. Some of them, they do a lot of things because their parents said they should do it. They really, I know a lot of kids that 18, they come there, they are depressed because their parents want them to be a doctor and they don't want to be a doctor, they want to be a rapper. The parents will throw them out of the house.
In Nigeria.
Yeah, in America.
Now.
Yes.
Now.
So these
now.
are the things that's going on. Nigerians are also
Now, let me now tell you something. Yeah, that day, that child on that particular instance that we had where the child stood up to the mom. The child on do and they come. Me, I don't like beating. So we're trying to use talk. Talk was not working. I swear to you, Almighty. Not only did those set of slaps, it not only reset that child, it reset the other ones. Because there's a tendency of one picking beginning to go off, the other one saying that okay, he's getting away with it.
It spoils the
As
other
in,
ones, yeah.
it was like a ripple
You need to
effect.
stop it quick.
Within 2 days, speaking with no grease saying they wrong, come apologize. Even me, I was weak. I almost stopped that onslaught when the mama wanted to go. I was like, no. I thank God that I now can't regret saying I no allow him enter him reach, because you get where you go enter him, the reset go be more permanent. You understand what I'm telling you?
But
So-
can I say something to there?
Yes.
It's like I've got 3 topics I want to obviously highlight on. Like I'm gonna start with what you said. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Sometimes for kids, you need a bit of, not too heavy-handed, but just
You pick your battles before you know when to
Thank you
fight.
very
Yes.
much. Because
But that you will talk all the time, it can never work.
No, you make
but
it up.
that,
It
but
can
that-
never
that's what I
work.
want to
Pick
say.
your battles with them.
The way kids mind, I mean, like I said, my baby is still
They're very manipulative.
they're still young, but from what I've noticed in them, the way a child minds is a bit different from us. For example, even your child that came over to you, that came to apologize, it might not be the actual slapping that did the resetting of the brain. It's just her knowing that, oh God, I've pushed that to the limit where it's actually, I mean, I saw we all saw this live. We all see how you are with your daughters. You know, you are always friendly with them. Maybe you are all the, you know, oh, dad is the fun dad. He's the one that always got the jokes. He's going to always take us out. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, I've pushed that to the point of like, I'm seeing red now. I must have done something wrong. Maybe that was the effect that I have on that. Is like, okay, you know what?
We have a child that we don't beat. We get one Pekin where we know they touch, because the reaction you will get not talk. He gets some way small bit small talk. He gets some way you need more small.
Yeah, you have to understand.
You can't raise the there's Oyinbo people come with one yardstick for all children. You cannot, it cannot work.
No, not
It cannot work. Do you understand what I'm telling you? I'm not saying now, and remember, I'm not saying the Nigerian system is right. My papa don't beat me down on top waiting my neighbor Pekin talk. No be me talk am. My papa just want to show me, say, if I talk that kind of thing when you talk, now waiting I go get be this. So I collect the beating down for waiting another Pekin do. My papa don't beat me down onto say I never commit that week, but he be like say I go commit. Make him just beat me down so I go know waiting go happen. Our parents took that to a dizzying height. Me, they beat me weekly when I grow up. Did it work? No.
No.
It didn't work. But you see, there are the once in a while, there are some once in a while resounding slaps that you need to give you a reality check.
Just once in a while.
Just once in a blue moon. There was the once in a while. Now, because my own was so much, I stood up to
I
it.
ended up presenting my parents. Mine was so much.
You understand? But you see, that once in 3 years.
You turn around and become disrespectful to them because
Now listen to me. There is that once in 3 years. There's that once in 3 years. Hold on, guys. There's that once in 3 years. There's that once in 3 years when certain children need hand.
Yes.
I don't like that daily hand, that any small thing collect. No. But there's that once in 3 years, maybe 4, maybe 2 years, when somebody needs to let you know who the boss is.
It depends on the child.
I agree with you 100%. There are some children I will give you, Remy, you go beat them. It's not possible. If you don't beat them, they go beat you.
It's how they were raised from the beginning.
Forget it. I'm telling you this thing.
Every kid is different.
Every child is different. Oyinbo people will use 1 yardstick to measure all children. Now, my papa beats me. I don't hate him for it. Oyinbo people will make a Pekin where they beat hating papa and mama. So their system is not the standard. Their system is their system looks good to us because our system is bad. So their own is the opposite. So it's like you don't like white. The opposite of white is black. So because you don't like white, black looks good to you. But black is not what you need. You know what, guys? This is as far as we can go. Big shout out to the Black Mentor. The Black Mentor has ordered my jacket. He just sent me a picture of it.
Hey, where's my own jacket now?
Black Tormentor. Thank you so much, Chichi. Thank you so much, Remy, and thank you so much, Sean. We're definitely going to continue on this topic. Parenting, toxicity, and relationships. We'll lump it together again and we'll come back again because I can see that there's quite a bit of audience for this particular topic and everybody seems to be on the fence. God bless you. Thank you so much. Feel free in the comment section when the video ends. You can still go to the comment section and drop your comments. Take care, guys. God bless. I love you all.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, guys.